Well, for more on this, let's go to our guest who joins us now from Kiev, Peter Zalmayev. He's the director of the Eurasia Democracy Initiative. Peter, how serious of an escalation is this?
This is a pretty serious escalation, considering that it comes only a few months before the presidential elections in Ukraine in March 2019. So, as you already mentioned, the president has been accused of using this situation or even orchestrating it as a kind of an election trick. So all eyes will be on Poroshenko to see how he will try to make use or not make use of the situation for the purposes of the political fight that is happening in Ukraine. You have to keep in mind that according to the 2003 agreement between Russia and Ukraine, both countries share the waters around the Azov Sea and the Kerch Strait, and therefore Ukraine was within its full rights to be to be using this strait for its ships. So this is a very serious confrontation, and we still do not know the fate of the arrested, detained Ukrainian sailors.
And as we mentioned, Peter, 80% of their exports, of Ukraine's exports, pass through that strait. What economic impact would we see, I guess, in kind of the aftermath of that, if that was hindered in any way?
Indeed, this is a very serious economic impact on Ukraine, considering that the Crimea used to be the hub for the shipment before it was annexed by Russia, and so Ukraine then became almost completely dependent on the Azov Sea shore for its maritime trade. And so not only will the whole of Ukraine suffer economically from this, but specifically the eastern parts, the most hard hit as a result of the war that is happening, that will suffer economically, and that can add political pressures on the current government, and therefore it can be seen as a tactic by Russians to continue squeezing Ukraine economically and continue putting pressure against the Poroshenko government that the Kremlin so much dislikes.
Well, I think you touched on the point here, the next question, which I wanted to ask you, which is the fact that the G20 is right around the corner. Is Russia trying to send a message here?
As a matter of fact, what Russia is doing now is actually turning the tables and accusing of Ukraine, in fact, of using this situation to try to disrupt the forthcoming meeting between President Vladimir Putin and President Donald Trump. So both sides are now jockeying for an advantageous position in this kind of game of mutual, accusations. And as a matter of fact, Ukraine is already having the upper hand, because both the United Nations Security Council is planning to meet, and that's been at the request of the outgoing U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley, and the EU and NATO both released statements very critical of Russia. So I think this portends a significant setback for Russia diplomatically if, in fact, Vladimir Putin does not get to meet Donald Trump as a result of this escalation.
All right, Peter Zalmayev out of Kiev, thanks for being with us.